A recent poll taken in 2018 concluded that about half of all women do not consider themselves feminists, while opinions within the halls of academia as well as in the controlled media over the past 5 or 6 years as fourth wave feminism has taken hold, well, the opinions and voices expressed have become ever more disconnected with that of your average person, and it would appear with young women in particular. Mostly, they have come to see feminism in its current fourth wave form as being an ideology that is marinated in the politics of the extreme left. At least those are the findings of the recent survey. And maybe there's a reason for this. And despite what media pundits and professional feminists in academia declare, these young women might be right, as they do see that the current ideology of fourth wave feminism is in fact misogynistic in not only its goals, but the end results that it is attempting to create for society. Now, before I continue, I just wanted to plug the new book, What Makes Us Girls by author, activist, and YouTuber Brittany Pettibone. It examines the topic of self-worth through a modern cultural lens, a lens that for many young women has distorted meaning, identity, and what constitutes happiness. I have reviewed the book for her and recommend it to all of my viewers and for all of their wives, mothers, and daughters. Links are in the description, and note the book is not in any way related to this presentation. Current feminism links outcome with a system of oppression. The reasoning goes, if there is not total or near parity between men and women in STEM fields, in the legal profession, or a plethora of other professional fields, that it must be the fault of an overt patriarchal system, as well as ingrained sexism. Interestingly, and this is just an aside, but very little lip service is given on wanting gender equality in occupations like oil drilling, construction, or raw resource extractions. But as I said, that's just an aside. Anyway, in California, new legislation seeks to provide not equality of opportunity, but once again, equality of outcome. A new formula has been mandated that requires women directors to be appointed to boards in California headquartered companies. Starting in 2019 and by 2021, all California companies with 5 directors must have 2 women directors, and companies with 6 directors must have 3 women directors, or they will incur financial penalties. The recent Me Too movement is perhaps the most widely known public relations outreach program created by fourth wave feminists that seeks to destroy the lives of any man accused of harassment, whether justly or not. Accused is also the operative word. However, women are now decrying the fact that in response, men in some industries, again in fields like media, advertising, and others, have now become reluctant to mentor young women, and this professionally hurts said young women. Articles galore are now describing how many men are adopting what is called controversial strategies in order to avoid women at all costs. Moreover, some companies are now saying that even hiring a woman in the post-Me Too environment is an unknown risk. And I can attest to this, as several people that I know personally have told me that they will simply no longer be hiring on new women employees, and through career moves and attrition will be weeding out female employees and replacing them with or promoting men, as the potential damage that can be created, whether it's real or imagined, is just too high. And there is one way only many companies now see to remove this potential landmine: halting the hiring of women, at least young women. Currently, gender relations are not doing well. Concurrent to the rise of fourth wave feminism has been the creation of a loose set of ideas about men, women, the relationship between them, as well as the very real prejudiced government and legal systems as they relate to men, and they call themselves men going their own way, or MGTOW. But both of these ways of thinking or living, regardless of their validity, are evolutionarily dysfunctional, as they are based on gender animus, and when enacted cannot produce positive outcomes for individuals, nor the creation of families, children, or a society at large. Along with a host of other factors, namely the ever-increasing need for two wage earners, women spending their prime childbearing years in school and after that in entry-level jobs on their career ladder, as well as the social denigration of motherhood and general femininity since at least the late 1960s across the Western world, we are witnessing a demographic implosion. Or, simply put, the economic model as well as the cultural nomenclature as it relates to gender roles and how society, and even more so radical feminism, has placed value only on the masculine rather than the feminine, is creating a perfect storm to delete those societies and cultures that choose to embrace these sets of dysgenic beliefs. The people that enact and espouse these ideas and ways of living simply are not reproducing, at least in stable numbers. They are, in a very real sense, evolutionarily deselecting not only themselves, but in a wider sense, their cultural ideas and accoutrements. Traditionally, male roles in this paradigm are what are espoused as the universal and the standard for equality. More financially or culturally rewarding industries are described as male-dominated, and the only reason that women are excluded is due to a nebulous patriarchy. It's not the drive, attributes, or willingness to put in the hours to succeed at all costs. It's simply down to sexism. The sad thing is that many women who have drank from the Kool-Aid of fourth-wave feminist economic empowerment are not able to find the fulfillment that they were promised working corporate jobs, and when it dawns on them that they have hit the wall, and even if they are able to find a partner, many of them have missed the window to have children, and for some, this can be a horrific reality check, because not all women, or men for that matter, are built to be corporate cogs. The thing that has been lost since at least second-wave feminism is that men and women are different. We have evolved together, but our gender-specific survival strategies have also evolved, but in radically different ways. What is clear, however, is that the masculine and feminine are radically out of sync in this first few decades of the 21st century. An appreciation of the feminine is needed, and to the howling outrage of some, I would say that it is fourth-wave feminists that need to understand this more than anyone. For many women, the most sacred job or duty a woman can have is having and raising her own biological children. There is nothing demeaning, slavish, or insulting about it, and to say otherwise is simply and profoundly misogynistic in its most purest form. Femininity and the attributes surrounding it are something I dare say the vast majority of men seek out in a potential partner. The stigma against stay-at-home mothers, women that like to cook and have children, women that want to be feminine really needs to stop, as well as the demonization. Encouraging women to have children while they are in their prime years for motherhood, and then if they want to study and join the workforce at a later date, should not only be encouraged by society, but I would support via government incentives. Not all women want to spend their lives in a cubicle, barren and competing with men for director seats on Fortune 500 companies or writing code for a global social media company. And we also know this not only anecdotally, but we know this via research. Since the enfranchisement of women and the exponential increase in social spending on the welfare state, well, this has created something that is called the gender equality paradox. That is, the more gender equal a society is, the less attractive are careers in STEM fields for women. This is not an indication of achievement, which is broadly similar, but girls just tended to register a lower interest in STEM subjects, and these differences were near universal across all countries and regions studied. Which means perhaps lower representation in some jobs and overrepresentation in others for both men and women is most likely not the result of the odious, repressive, and stifling Western patriarchy, but are in fact an expression of healthy gender roles and how they contribute to a healthy society. Because, as a friend of mine likes to say, civilization is a team sport. We need men and women working together to make it work. And currently, both men and women are not doing that. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe and hit the alert bell to be informed of new content. It usually doesn't work, but try it anyway. Also, please consider supporting this channel. Ways to do so are in the description. And don't forget to check out Brittany Pettibone's new book. Links are also in the description. I'll see you next time.